Cinemajaw is sponsored by Overcast, an independent podcast app that embraces the open world of podcasting instead of locking it down. No exclusives, no premium content, no paywalls. Just a great podcast app for everyone. Get it for free in the App Store. And we thank them for their support. You're listening to Cinemajaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on location from Rye the Movie Guy's house in Chicago. My name is Matt Kay, and with me is
Rye the Movie Guy, and sitting alongside us, he's back, Jawheads, is Filmy and Phil.
Hello, how is everyone?
Welcome back, Phil. We missed you.
Thank you. I missed you guys too. Am I darker?
You look like you got a little sun.
And
yeah.
You look relaxed, Phil.
Do I? Okay.
You feel relaxed, like your aura.
Do I?
Yeah.
Wow. I feel way more high-strung, so.
You're holding it well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This week on Cinemajaw, Matt, we are going to figure out M. Night Shyamalan's top 3 best movies. And we're taking away Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense.
Is there going to be a twist?
That's the twist.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody's got to do it, Ryan. So who better than us?
Also, Jawheads, this is an epic record. We have our first in-house guest.
Yeah.
In a year and a half.
Year and a half. We've been doing the math on this. The last in-person guest before the pandemic hit in March 2020 was E-Man, Emmanuel Noisette. Great YouTuber. Check him out. But we have Frank T. Ziede, filmmaker, writer, director in the house. He's got a new short out called Volition. Can't wait to talk to Frank again.
Yes, always exciting to have Frank on the show. He also saw a movie that's on Netflix that we're going to be reviewing this week, Matt.
That's right. Gunpowder Milkshake, Ryan, which is an action film. Perfect to talk to Frank about because he likes action movies. Most of his movies are action related.
And I mentioned we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan, and that's because
we're also reviewing Old, the new M. Night movie. So it's a jam-packed jaw.
It is. What else do we have going on, Phil?
Yeah, we got a really good Scarlett Johansson fact. We're keeping it rolling with this month. And because I've been gone for 2 weeks, I wasn't doing nothing. We got good stuff coming up on her.
Nice.
Well done, Phil.
Always good to have Phil back, isn't it?
It is.
Frank loves to play trivia, so I always got to come up with good questions. This week, Matt, you're taking Frank on in M. Night Shyamalan cast movie trivia. So think of all the people that have appeared in the M. Night movies. Those are the topics, Matt.
Yeah, well, M. Night's one of them, right? He's like he tries to think he's like Hitchcock.
He pops up, and he pops up in Old. I'll spoil that right now.
Yeah, of course.
Before we bring Frank on, we should start the show. It's our last week celebrating Scarlett Johansson. Phil, hit us with a fact.
Yes. So we've all seen Marriage Story. Did you know that the climactic fight scene in Marriage Story between Scarlett and Adam Driver was filmed over 2 different days? And then due to the explosive nature of the fight scene, it was done in one take, and the pair had to restart the scene every time for 2 days, just restarting over and over again. Noah Baumbach would give notes to Scarlett and Adam separately during the fight scene to surprise each other again the time afterwards and keep it more like an actual fight between a crumbling marriage. And in all, they did roughly 50 different takes of going back and forth, getting into the giant art, which I have to imagine would be emotionally tolling, even though it's not real.
I agree. They probably just hated each other at the end for real, right? Like it suddenly becomes an argument in real life. Like, I can't stand Adam Driver.
You know what popped into my mind is what a nightmare for the editor to have to go through 50 takes and choose the best stuff. I mean, boy, man, that's got to take some note taking.
But what a scene. We talked about it time and time again last year. It was one of the best scenes of the year. So
one of the best scenes maybe of the past 5 years.
Yep, really came together. Interesting stuff. All right, Matt, we ready to get this show rolling?
I'm always ready, dude.
Without further ado, we bring in our guest, Frank T. Ziede, as you mentioned. He's been on the Jaw. What would you say? What's your guess?
My guess is 6 times.
We're throwing it in the Jaw box early. Look it up for us, Phil. But he has been on multiple times. His new short film, Volition, is finished. Me and Matt have seen it. Frank, welcome back to Cinemajaw.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure to be here and to be here in person.
Yes, welcome
This is a monumentous occasion.
Welcome to Rye the Movie Guy's place.
It's very spacious. Very spacious. I like your fish tank, by the way. It's very nice.
Yes, that's what we keep filling.
Very
Absolutely.
nice.
Got to get a big one with the filter, the little chest that opens and closes.
Yeah, there's all these locks and chains on it, so it's very
I tell
dark.
him those are decorations.
Okay.
That's the word we use.
It's nice.
So how have you been, Frank?
I've been good, man. Obviously trying to navigate the pandemic like everybody else, but trying to also be creative in that time, doing a lot of writing and just supporting other creative people. So yeah, we're just happy to be healthy and safe.
So we mentioned this new short film, and we were talking about it. We had a beer outside on my deck before we hit record. Little spoiler. You told us this new short took 7 years. At least it was shot 7 years ago.
Yeah, so it's a short film that I wrote, and it won a competition a long time ago from Magnanimous called the Screen Junkie screenwriting competition. And just a little insider note at this table, we asked them, hey, now that we've won, like, why did you pick us? And they're like, well, you seem like guys who are going to get the work done. And here it is 7 years later, and we're finally getting the work done. But
got to live up to that reputation.
Right. And we wrote this thing, and we were lucky enough to have two great actors. Pete Kelly, who's an actor who's been in Transformers and a bunch of other different movies and scenes. He's a former Chicago police officer, and then I think he took acting classes with Christian Stolte, who is a series regular. He plays Mouch, if I'm saying that right, on Chicago Fire. Put that in the fish tank if I said it correct. But he asked Stolte if he would read our script, and he said yes, and he was nice enough to come out for a day. So we had him for a day, and we built this big set with this plastic sheeting, and we really, myself and our co-director, Corey Gilbert, who's an amazing artist and collaborator, we worked on this one scene, like almost like an actor's study, just two actors, one room, a clock that's running down, and this main character having to make a choice. So we got it done, but we were working with green screen, and we had all these effects that we had to do, and life takes over, and raising children takes over, and other work. But we trudged along, and it was almost a moral obligation for us. We were, going to do it no matter what. And we had some amazing VFX artists, Paul DeNegris in Arizona, and then some great color here in town from Paul Galati, great score from CJ Johansson, who's a score guy here in town. So it was, even though there was some Arizona in there, it was mostly a Chicago Midwest team that put it all together.
Down to the accents on the actors.
Down to the accents. There's a Chicago cop in there, so he's got his thick Chicago accent. But Max Heiligman, who was our DP, did an amazing job of framing it all up and making it look great. And then John Phillips, who was our on-set, primary producer, did an amazing job. And David Hannibal and, Maggie on the production design. She was the one that really made a lot of those moments real and authentic. There's a coffee cup in one of the very first scenes, and that was her idea. And it was a collaborative effort.
Those little touches, though, that's what makes it feel like okay, he's drinking a coffee. He's a regular dude,
Yeah, there's this shot where there's a ladder behind the plastic sheeting, and that was Maggie's idea. And every time I watch it, I'm like, man, that ladder looks fantastic.
I noticed the ladder. I totally did, 100%. But you mentioned only two characters in the film, but alas, there is a third character, and that's the gun.
Right.
There is this gigantic gun in the room the whole time, and I was like, what is with this thing? I've never seen a gun this large in my life. Yeah. Is it a real gun? What is this thing?
Yeah, so if anybody knows any of the work I've done, I do action. I grew up on Die Hard and Predator, and, I must have seen Die Hard like 15 times when I was a kid back then. And then you remember the micro cassette recorders?
Oh, sure. So I still have one.
Okay. Well, I took that and I micro cassette recorded the audio of the movie, not the score, but just like the talking of the movie and, John McClane's character. And I listened to that at night over and over and over again.
Frank, coming from anybody else, I'd be like, get out of here. But I totally believe you, dude. Yeah. Knowing you.
So I knew all the sounds of all the guns. I knew what a Styrog was, which was, the blonde hair guy's character. And then I knew what an MP5 sounded like. So, and knowing, and there's definitely touchiness around weapons and action these days. And I'm not a gun-toting guy, or not, I don't have any element of that. I just like action movies.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I love to see a good action movie happen in the right way. And we did a series called Black a while back, and part of our struggle was really trying to make sure that we had safety on set. but at the same time still had good action. Well, a little bit of research, I come to find out that airsoft guns give you that capability. They give you the safety and the production value. So what you saw on set was just one big gas blowback airsoft scale 1-to-1 replica of a Barrett 82A1 50 caliber sniper rifle.
Wait.
Of course, that's
You're
what it
telling
was.
me Airsoft makes a 1-to-1 replica of the Barrett 50
Yeah.
caliber?
Yeah, I have.
And you bought it.
I have a vault like in my home,
Dude, I gotta come over one day.
It'll blow your mind. And none of it's real. None of it can shoot anything other than little plastic BBs. So you get, for me, it's like having a prop case.
Or a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's it. And so, but it's, for me, it's just about what looks good on camera and how you can make it look authentic, but at the same time safe. I can't tell you how many situations I've seen people get arrested in the street for having a real weapon, even unloaded, or somebody getting shot or hurt. And so,
Right on set. Yeah.
safety first. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Still got to look badass though.
So what's the plan for the short? Are we going to put it in film festivals?
Absolutely. So Corey Gilbert, by the way, who is my co-director and co-producer on it, he's had a really nice run. He's had a couple of films. Abby, he did with, I think, a guy named Timothy Troy here in town, who's a great
we've
filmmaker.
had him on.
Oh, there you go. Tim Troy, who also has worked with Christian Stolte on another short film called Hold My Horse, I think. Double check that for me, if you will, Phil. But they worked together on Abby, and that went on Dust, which is a big online portal.
I'm a big fan of Dust.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and then Corey's got a couple of other films, but he and I wanted to work together because both of us have a ridiculous, fanatical passion and love of the movie Heat. And that is, for us, who doesn't, who should, everyone should. And that for us became our sort of starting point. So Corey has gained more and more festival runs, and he really has a lot of connection now. And I've had some shorts being like LA Shorts Fest and what is it called? Hollyweb. We won a couple of awards. So we're ready to take this thing back to all those areas and see if anybody likes it, and hopefully have a real in-person festival run.
That's awesome.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And when you do, let us know so we can spread the good word.
Yeah, for sure.
And for the Jawheads listening to this that want to check out Black, check out your work, where should we send them online? Where's the best place to see some of this work?
Man, I'm terrible at self-promotion. Terrible. I've got an Instagram. It's FTZ_film. I'm on TikTok now, but only as an observer. I'm on Facebook. You can find me there. But Black is on almost everywhere. It's got its own YouTube page. Just type in blackthewebseries.com. It's got its own Vimeo page. It's also on Amazon Prime still, if you can actually find it. So, not one paid review. Literally have asked no one to give it any sort of positive review, and we're at something like 6 stars out of 10.
Nice.
So
Congrats.
it's probably more than we deserve, but
I disagree, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
It was wonderful.
You know how to get the production value. You like squeeze it dry, dude. It's something I respect.
Yeah, my filmmaking motto is act as if, right? Try to do everything you can to make it look as good as possible. And I've really tried to work almost in the pandemic to do a lot more writing and just try to be a better, more conscious person who says, yes, the guns can look great and the gear can look great, but if the characters aren't there and the script isn't good enough, then nobody's going to give a crap.
Stick a pin in that. I think we're going to talk about that
Okay,
exact point.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
We are celebrating Scarlett Johansson this month, so I did want to end this interview with asking you a Scarlett Jo question. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Okay.
If you were put on a desert island and you could only bring 3 films starring Scarlett Johansson, what 3 films do you take with you, Frank?
These are in no particular order. Maybe they are. The first one is The Prestige. So I had to remind myself that
Great
she
pick.
was, and
Great pick.
And she's, I feel like she's working with 2 powerhouses and at the same time really holds her own.
I forgot as well that you was in The Prestige.
And it's Nolan. It's always great. The second one is really a testament to her capability as an actor, which is Her. And it's just
Total agreement.
Right. And the evolution of her actual character and the software and the algorithm or whatever, the AI and the tone in her voice when she's like, I'm leaving you. We're moving on to something bigger than you ever would be. So I'm sorry. The sorrow in her voice. It's amazing. But my guilty pleasure would be Lucy.
I'm a fan as well, dude.
Awesome.
Like of all, she's had a couple of let's just say throwaway action movies. Lucy is the greatest of those.
Yeah.
It is a guilty pleasure for me as well.
Yeah, for sure. I dug it.
I agree. Actually, I don't hate it. We reviewed it on the show, gave it a positive review, and I've seen it another time where I caught it midway through and ended up finishing the end of the movie. I was like, it's not bad.
It's a fun ride.
It
It's
is
Luc
fun.
Besson, I think.
Yep.
Right, and he's it's Fifth Element and a whole bunch of other great movies. So you can see that Luc feel in it, that French sort of action filmmaker feel. But I dug it. I dug how it ended. Even it was just weird.
I think that's
it's got
three
a
great
long-
picks, to be honest.
I agree too.
I love her in Lost in Translation, and I love that movie. But how many times would I watch it on a
Right.
deserted island? You got to think about these things.
Yeah, you do. I'd watch Lucy over Lost in Translation.
Yeah, and The Prestige I'd watch all the time.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
Totally.
good picks, Frank.
Thanks.
All right, so Frank is sitting in on this entire Jaw, and just to tease the Jawheads, Matt, Frank took the deep dive and saw Snake Eyes. We'll get a snippet review from Frank after the break.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yes. But up first, Jawheads, Gunpowder Milkshake. How about that title? What if John Wick married the bride from Kill Bill and they had a daughter? We might get something like Gunpowder Milkshake from their offspring. But does this Netflix action film have the substance to back up the fun visual style it splatters on the screen? Matt Kay, Frank, and I went to the library to study up on that question.
Girls, I think I see a ghost.
We need weapons.
Give the kill order. I'm gonna do terrible things to you girls.
We're gonna bring the sky down on their heads.
I'm gonna make a little noise.
The plot synopsis for Gunpowder Milkshake reads like this. To protect an 8-year-old girl, a dangerous assassin reunites with her mother and her lethal associates to take down a ruthless crime syndicate and its army of henchmen. The dangerous assassin here is Eve, played by Karen Gillan. Her mom is played by Lena Headey of Game of Thrones fame. Both pour in fine performances, but my favorite by far was Michelle Yeoh, who plays one of the lethal associates. She is having fun, and it totally shows here. The visuals are highly stylized, filled with bright neon colors and plenty of slow motion. Unfortunately, the story is kind of weak. It really takes a backseat to the visuals and to the world that the filmmakers are trying to create. And speaking of this hidden world they bring to life, it feels a little forced. It comes across like it's trying too hard to be cool. That said, it still presents some fun scenarios. I love this one scene that sees 3 henchmen all high on laughing gas. Also, seeing Eve fight these 3 men while her arms have been paralyzed was a highlight. For a Netflix movie, I'm giving Gunpowder Milkshake a passing grade. Matt, did you find this milkshake to be a treat? And would you order another?
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, right?
I can second that.
I think I concur almost 100% with your review, which is happening way too often lately. It was like kind of dumb fun, but it's nowhere near as creative as a John Wick. They're obviously going for that. They're trying to create, well, there's the library, there's the diner. You can't bring your guns in the diner. This world has rules. They almost clobber you over the head with that.
Exactly.
And then the rules also kind of don't make sense. They do a poor job with world building here. But that said, I love me some Karen Gillan. I love her as Nebula. I even love her in the Jumanji reboots.
Right.
And she needs a vehicle. I don't know if this is it. It's certainly not going to be a John Wick kind of thing for her, but it was fun. I like her. I had some fun hanging out with her.
Frank?
I dug it, but not enough. I'm with you. Everything you say, spot on. They're really trying to do a female John Wick version, which honestly, that's great, right?
Yeah, we could use that.
Let's empower. Let's literally get some diversity across the board. I like the idea of all a female thing, but I wanted some inspiration as to why. I wanted some inspiration why all the librarians were women. I wanted to understand that context and like, why is that part of this story? There's some things that just killed me multiple times. And as an action guy, I'm going to raise a gun up and I'm going to pull the trigger, but it's going to be empty. But I'm sorry, the slides forward on an automatic pistol. So
There's still a bullet in there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then at the end, all three of them have their guns in the diner, all aimed at the people. And then the writer writes this line. It's like, well, things are going to change, right, ladies? And it's like, clack, 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 clang. We're all loading our weapons right at that moment. Like any trained killer would have had those weapons loaded hours ago before they even got in the car to get to the diner.
Yeah, but everybody likes that.
And they need to stop it, right? Because technical accuracy is really important. Anybody who watches an action movie knows that all of that's just total bullshit. And it just takes me out of the moment. Like they're in the fight sequence in the middle of...
You might be a rare bird in that.
I don't think I am.
No, but like name a movie where the hero doesn't rack the shotgun, even though you know it's already loaded and he doesn't need to do that.
Just give me a day and I'll come back to you in 24 hours like 9 times in really good action movies where it doesn't happen.
All right.
But they're in the library and they're surrounded by books and all of a sudden, oh dang, we're out of bullets. It's time to go to nightsticks and bayonets on our 45 caliber pistols. I'm sorry, there's 900 other books in the library. I guarantee they're all loaded with firearms.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
And why didn't the henchmen pick up on that fact and start pulling books?
Exactly.
Yeah, there was some really tall hurdles.
And
to
they definitely were committed. There were a couple of great shootouts. I like what you said. The style factor was high. It looked beautiful. The slow-mo was there. The production design was high, even from the opening credits. But there was that scene you mentioned in the hallway with the guys in the laughing glass. I punched out. I thought it was terrible. I was like, this is so ridiculous in this moment.
Hear me out on this. I did too. I'm like, that was the point of the movie where I'm like, this isn't a good movie. But I was like, halfway through that fight, I'm like, actually, this is really creative. I've never seen a fight where everybody is like so injured that they can't even stand, but they're still fighting.
That's what I enjoyed about it. Right.
At least that scene was pretty original. And it's one of the most original things in this movie.
And the idea that her arms are paralyzed, but the way she's fighting is a duct-taped knife, and you would just swing and catch the momentum of your arm swinging through the air.
It was
Creative.
slapstick,
It worked.
ridiculous comedy, joke, clown shoe stuff. It was beneath what they were going for in the movie. It was a bad choice.
You might be right.
I thought actually right after that, when the little girl had to drive the car because her arms were paralyzed, that was the most ridiculous. It was just, it seemed, what is going on here?
Hard left.
Hard left. It just doesn't work that way.
There were a couple of genius moments in this movie when, and again, spoiler alert, when she comes back out of the bathroom when she's the young girl and she says, close your eyes. Right? She closes her eyes and we hear, right? It's the Jaws moment where you don't even see the shark, but you just realize that mom's a total badass and she kills everybody in the diner. And it's like the gun was in the book, but now it's not in the book. Oh crap, mom had the gun, right? That was some clever writing. And as a filmmaker and seeing so many movies, you can tell when somebody knows they've got a great first scene, right? And they've got some great set pieces along the way. But then somebody did not go back through and do a rewrite and do an edit of the whole thing and say, we got to clean this up. We need a solid red thread through the whole movie.
Right.
So it's like, we're just going to move from set piece to set piece to set piece and big thing to big thing. So that's where it kind of fell apart.
I agree. A bunch of faceless henchmen didn't come together.
Right.
Matt, was there a jaw-dropping moment in here for you?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, Frank, it was the bayonets on the 45s for me. I mean, I've never seen that before, bayonets on handguns. And, you don't show a gun and not use it. Man, does she use those. And it was kind of cool. I like the fact that they switched it up to melee. Ridiculous? Yes. Fun to watch? Yes.
I liked it also, and this is Jawheads, the library fight scene. It's a long shootout, which turns into,
It's like a third of the movie.
Yeah, into this hand-to-hand combat. But I also like the library scene, but I go with the large machine gun that comes in on the top of the van.
Excuse me, large machine gun?
Please, Frank.
You mean a Vulcan minigun that she pops out of a 1974 Volkswagen bus.
That was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
It was. And that actress, by the way, and I can't remember her name. I want to say it's Gina or Gianna. But she immediately, I recognized her from Sin City.
Yes.
She was doing,
yes.
She, for me, was the one of the characters that I legitimately believed in the most. Her and the lead actress.
100%.
Angela Bassett, Michelle Yeoh, they were there doing their job. I felt like Angela Bassett was overacting it just a little bit. I wanted a little more Viola Davis, right? Quiet confidence in that character, but it seemed like she was a little heavy-handed in it. Michelle Yeoh, very subtle, but that woman who plays the librarian who's operating the minigun, just so much subtlety in the way she's caring for the little girl.
She actually seemed to have a heart.
Yes.
Like a beating heart in her chest, whereas everybody else was a bit of a cardboard cutout.
Until it got shot.
How about a movie
Spoiler
poster
alert.
quote, Matt?
Gunpowder Milkshake aims for wick and misses.
Not bad. Not
you
bad.
got?
I went with the milkshake looks better than it tastes.
Yeah. How many Jaws?
2.5 Jaws for this. I'm a little favorable on it. 2.5 Jaws, Matt.
Generous on that. I'm giving it 2 Jaws, middle of the road. Kind of liked it.
Frank,
Okay.
we're on a 4-jaw scale.
1.22.
What? A 1.22?
Yeah.
Frank can do it, Rye.
He breaks out the very rare 0.22's jaw.
This might be a Jaw first.
So one of the reasons we held Gunpowder Milkshake for this week was Frank's on. He's an action filmmaker. And the first question I wanted to ask to start this discussion out was, Frank, is style over substance a problem in most action films?
Yes. I think that you can have very stylized look and feel like this movie. It was very beautiful. Like the art director did a great job and it was very stylized, like I said, from the opening credits. But it doesn't have to be like Sin City. It's
Right,
all
yeah, I was gonna
style
say.
and fantastic substance, but that's because it's from Frank Miller, who did, a fantastic graphic novel. I think that's the art of
Don't
the
give
writer,
Frank
right?
all the credit. And I mean Frank Miller, not you, Frank. Because then he followed that up with The Spirit.
Right. Terrible.
Oh.
So the director takes that vision and, can either do good or bad with
Right.
it.
He got a co-directing credit on that, which famously, oh my God, who's the other director on that? I'm blanking.
On The Spirit?
No, Sin City.
Robert Rodriguez.
Rodriguez got booted from the Directors Guild because he let a non-Directors Guild member get a directing credit on his film.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not.
But then, so Frank Miller follows it up with The Spirit, and he's got all style, no substance.
Yeah. I think you have to have it. I think John Wick, maybe not the third one in the series, but like that sort of franchise does a really good job of melding those two worlds together. But it's a visual medium. So they're like, as long as it looks fantastic, right, it's going to do the job. And unfortunately, they're right. Most of the movie-going America will head to the box office if the trailer's good enough. And damn, I'm one of those people. And I mean, I'm honest with myself enough. I'm trying to be more and more humble and understand my, how I'm imperfect as a filmmaker. Like that is most of my early career. And the whole idea is that you try to make as many films as you can to get better and better and focus more on the substance element and maybe not as much on the style element. But you got to have both.
I think you're absolutely right, Frank. Yes is the answer to the question. There is a problem in most action movies with style over substance. But then you look at like The Matrix, which perfectly uses both. I don't think you have a successful entry in the action genre without a lot of style. But if it doesn't come with a lot of substance, it's just going to fall apart and be eye candy bullshit.
Yep. Yeah, I'm right on the same page with you guys. It's a balance. You want all the best style that you can get. Everybody loves the cool slow motion scenes. The way The Matrix looked for the first time seemed to just change movies for a little while there. But it had something to back it up. The story was a sci-fi, was like a head scratcher. Like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. So it's the balance. You got to have the style, but you have to be stylizing the substance. It's got to be something cool,
You know what it's like?
Creative idea.
It's like rolling a perfect strike, Ryan.
Yes,
which actually leads me to the question I wanted to ask you guys. Favorite bowling alley scenes? Because in this movie, she has to go and rescue a little girl, and she gets drawn to a bowling alley. And for some reason, they never really explain, has to put on a bowling jacket, which she then wears for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
Well, I think the premise is that they made her change clothes and put her stuff in the locker because she might have been hiding some sort of tracking device or a specialized weapon, knife, garrote, right? So they're like, you strip down and have to put on what we give you, and then we'll know that you're totally clean, and don't have anything else.
All right, I'll
but
buy
again, a ridiculous plot motive, story device.
You had to get that cool jacket.
That's exactly what they wanted.
100%. And I will say, we're talking about how stylized the movie was. This was probably the coolest looking scene, that backdrop of the neon lights in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And so, great question. Do you have a favorite bowling alley scene, Frank?
Yeah, I had a couple in mind, but I mean, obviously the first one that comes to mind is, it's a league game, right? Smokey, it's, the Big Lebowski, and they're there with the 45 in his face, and it's a league game.
Over
it's a
the
league
line.
game. Smokey, it's over the line. I mean, that's, it's fantastic. One of the other ones that jumps out was Kingpin, the finale with Murray and Harrelson.
I just saw it.
Yeah.
With the comb over.
Oh my
flapping
gosh.
in the breeze.
And the rose inside the ball, and just, how he's like Bill Murray at his best in those moments. So there was another one, but I can't remember it. I'll come back to it.
I mean, honest to God, where else do you go besides Lebowski and Kingpin? So if I had to pick a Lebowski scene, I'm going with the dude's dream, where he's like rolling down the alley and he's going like under all the women and he's looking up their skirts
In his work coveralls with a tool belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous and fun. Another one I would probably mention is from Kingpin, and I'll go with when he gets his hand stuck into the ball return, and that's how Woody Harrelson's character loses his hand and his career ends.
Yep.
It's a great scene.
Which leads to one of the best running gags in movie history, where he keeps showing the hand with the ring on it, and everybody's like, is that real? And then he's talking about the ring all the time, but everybody's talking about the rubber hand. I love that joke. It's just so ridiculous.
That movie was good.
I also have the Big Lebowski, but
Where else do you go?
I go with the Jesus. You got John Turturro
yeah.
when he comes in
Polishing
with
his ball.
What's the song? Hotel California?
Dude, I don't remember.
Oh man, it's so great. Throw it in the jaw box. I think it's Hotel California is playing. The Jesus comes on, and it is just so funny where he says, "I'll put this gun so far up your ass until you hear the trigger go click," and they're just like stunned. The look on Lebowski's face is just. It's unbelievable.
He's a pederast, dude.
So funny. Yeah, so good. But that isn't actually my number one. My number one pick, one that hasn't been mentioned, is the end of There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say that one.
Where Daniel Plainview actually bludgeons to death Eli Sunday, played by Paul Dano. And I mean, the scene originally starts with him. That's where the famous I drink your milkshake comes from. Starts with that.
Drainage.
And then ends with him with a bowling pin clobbering this guy over the head. And at one point, Daniel Day-Lewis just says, "I'm finished." And it's the character saying that, but a lot of people have said they think that was him just sort of tipping his hat to the director, like, that's the end of the scene. That's what I got. And they just left it in because it's so perfect. Maybe that is, but it's great.
Interesting. I never read that. That's cool.
I drink your milkshake, right? And then Gunpowder Milkshake.
Yep.
It's like
It's all come full circle.
I might have one honorable mention that would be at the highest caliber of such a film, like, There Will Be Blood. How about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with Napoleon Bonaparte? Like bowling with the other kids and cheating. Remember that? I mean, high class.
I remember it.
High class.
For sure.
You know what's another great one? I know you're a fan of it. Grease 2. When, they're in the bowling alley, and that's when the motorcycle guy comes up, the cool guy.
The cool rider?
The cool rider.
Yeah.
They all run out of the bowling alley.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, who's that guy? That's a great scene. They're in the bowling alley parking lot on the motorcycle.
Yeah. So many great bowling alley scenes.
It's good stuff. So we've been talking about Gunpowder Milkshake. We were high, low on it, but Netflix seems to be trying very hard, desperate almost, to get their own franchise. They want something that's like everybody's looking forward to, a sequel and a 3. Would you, Matt, want to see a sequel? Do you think they can improve on this and make it something?
Oh, they could have improved on it, but I'm not going to give them the opportunity. No is my answer. I don't want it. I love Karen Gillan, like I said. She's got a vehicle in the Marvel films. She's got a vehicle in the Jumanji films. I don't think she needs this in her career. This was a miss, and my answer is no. Absolutely not.
I would say no. I think that it was a good standalone film, but I think they've got money that they can invest in so many other things. You're gonna probably hate me because I heard your review of this, but I'd love to see another Army of the Dead.
Oh no!
Instead of this.
Oh no! Oh my!
It's a terrible film. and a fantastic guilty pleasure to watch.
Just take the of the dead back out of it. Can we do that?
No.
Then no.
No.
Then absolutely not. That of the dead, that means something. But it didn't in this movie.
I'm obsessed and have gone down the rabbit hole that it's all a time loop.
You've gone down the rabbit
It's
hole.
all a time loop. That was dead versions of them right there outside the safe. It's all going to come back. It's full time loop. It's
is a fan theory
It's
of
live,
yours.
die, repeat is set in the zombie universe.
I don't know about
maybe we'll
this.
come back around to that.
Well,
when
but
we
I
talk about
digress.
old.
Well, I am going to stun the jawheads here and say I would actually like to see a sequel to Gunpowder Milkshake.
Yeah, what happened to Rye the movie guy? Who
don't
the
know.
hell are you?
I enjoyed this one, obviously, more than you guys. And I would say, yes, it clearly had its problems. We've picked it apart. It tried too hard. But I do like the world to some degree, enough where I think if they gave it some thought and they said, hey, this is what we need to do to improve the movie, I think a sequel could actually be far superior than this one. But I think
Instead of a library, guys, how about a magazine stand?
No, you still have the library.
Like
You
magazines, you know?
Expand on it, you know? I would actually like to see where this could go.
They literally rode off into the sunset at the end of the movie. There's no sequel.
Oh, boy.
It's not coming.
All right, wrapping this thing up here, one more time for Gunpowder Milkshake. I went 2.5 jaws. Matt went 2 jaws. And Frank went the very rare 1.22 jaws.
Sorry, guys.
It's not rare. It's unique.
Yes. If you see Gunpowder Milkshake and you want to comment on this review, write us. Feedback at cinemajaw.com, or you can shoot us a tweet at Cinemajaw. We'll get the discussion going. What we're going to do here is take a break. When we come back, we have a review of Old, plus Frank's take on Snake Eyes, and Frank is taking Matt on in M. Night Cast movie trivia. Stick with us.
Jawheads, I want you to do me a favor. Pull your phone out of your pocket and go to your YouTube app. Search for the Cinemajaw channel and hit subscribe. Really, please do it right now. This will do 2 things. 1, it helps us reach more people. We want to spread the good word about film, and you clicking subscribe really helps us do that. And 2, it costs you nothing. That's right. Subscribing to Cinemajaw on YouTube is fun and it's free. Think of it as a donation that doesn't even cost you anything. Even if you just listen to the podcast and never really watch the videos, you subscribing on YouTube helps us make the podcast better too. But please check out a few videos while you're there. We think they're pretty good. So right now, while you're listening, before you forget, take your phone out. It shouldn't even interrupt the show. And go to YouTube, search Cinemajaw, and hit subscribe. And thank you so much.
And we are back on Cinemajaw. Ooh, there we go. Round 2, Matt.
Round 2, literally.
Hanging
and
out
figuratively.
with Frank T. Ziede, filmmaker and part-time critic on G.I. Joe movies, Matt. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, I do.
But we're recording. It's past 11 o'clock, and we had to start late. And part of the reason we had to start late was Frank was determined to see Snake Eyes tonight and then record. So, Frank, was Snake Eyes worth the trip to the movie theater?
Sad to say the answer was no.
Wow.
There were 20% of the time where I got to watch Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fight back to back in white and black with their traditional sort of look and feel, and that was slightly entertaining, but no. It was another venture down the G.I. Joe road. And as a kid who grew up with G.I. Joes and had Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, 5-inch action figures, had a bag
They were
full.
both kind of hard to get.
Yeah. I mean, I have no joke in the last 2 to 3 years Googled on eBay multiple times trying to find a good Snake Eyes action
Snake
figure.
Eyes is hard. Yeah. Storm
Because-
Shadow was a little easier.
It's the best. But it's a fun action movie. They try to do an origin story in the midst of it. That's cool. But they crammed in too much G.I. Joe stuff. And then there's this magical stone and these ridiculous 100-foot long pythons with heads that are like 4 feet
So
across.
they threw in a little Marvel and a little Anaconda, huh?
Yeah, it was like, are we watching Harry Potter or G.I. Joe?
Oh, no.
So Elliot Goulding, I think, was miscast. The guy who plays Storm Shadow is actually, he out-acts Elliot Goulding or Harry Goulding or whatever his name is. Throw it in the fish tank. Whoever the guy is that plays Snake Eyes. But just to see them fight as Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, it was fun.
Did you see Mortal Kombat?
I did.
Better or worse than Mortal Kombat?
Oh, just about the same, unfortunately.
I kind of liked Mortal Kombat, so
It was fun, but being a guy, again, who's just wants to stay true to the video game, I wanted more of the pure elements of the game. But there was so much weirdness in both of these things. It's just like, oh, we're going to make a random left turn here on the freeway where there's no exit. And yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, like in this one, Mary Jane, one of the G.I. Joe characters, she gets introduced, right? She's coming to Tokyo. But then there's this big, huge battle at the end with, we're talking like, 50, 60 Cobra soldiers. And she just drops in from an airlift by herself.
Oh,
Like,
she's a badass, right?
What the hell are we talking about? This is a military operation and we're going to drop one Joe in to fight against the whole thing? It's almost as bad. And this is why Ryan Reynolds and the writers of Deadpool are so clever when they're standing outside. And I don't know if it was Deadpool 2 or 1, but they're standing outside the X-Men mansion trying to get Colossus to come out. And they're like, isn't it weird that there's only one X-Men in this whole building the whole time? It's almost like the studio doesn't want to pay for more people.
That's what makes those movies good.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
So on a 4-jaw scale, I don't know what Frank could possibly give Snake Eyes. What do you got here?
From a pure love of G.I. Joe, and specifically the characters of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, I give it 2 out of 4.
That's
Two
that's
jaws
passing.
out of 4 after he gave Gunpowder Milkshake 1.22.
Yeah. I'm you guys. I just feel you're totally wrong about the doctor's office, no arms, flail around fight thing. It was clown shoe,
Wow.
rubber nose, rubber chicken jokiness, and it took me out of the movie completely.
Wow. This really puts it into context. He hated Gunpowder Milkshake.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I just did not like that part of it, and I'm sorry, but I will always pick Snake Eyes, the Storm Shadow.
That's the fulcrum of the movie. If you like that scene, you're going to be along for the ride, and if you don't like that scene, you're going to just drop out. I agree.
All right. Well, there was a little extra review for the Jawheads. 2 jaws from Frank T. Ziede on Snake Eyes. Matt, before we get to our review of Old and before we play some movie trivia, we threw a few items into the fish tank. And Phil, back from vacation.
Yeah.
I know he wants to swim up to the top, so let's open up that fish tank.
Wait a moment! It's fish! Isn't it?
DC! Wake up! No, Pat, it's a giant glass bowl. Hey, get some fish folk.
Who's coming with me besides Flipper? Here.
That's a Sicilian message. It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Thank you guys. It's so much. It's so good to be out. We have a lot of stuff in here. This is a huge week.
You smell like the Pacific.
And most of the stuff thrown in was by Frank.
I'm a saltwater fish now. Frank's keeping me busy. And okay, that's actually a good. So our first question was, how many times has Frank been on the show? Frank, as of right now, there are 6 episodes published with Frank, making this his 7th appearance. He's like the Meryl Streep of Cinemajaw
7.
guests.
Well done, Frank.
Crazy.
It is.
And fun fact about Frank T. Ziede, I remember very well, Frank was on episode 257 from November of 2015, specifically because that was my very first episode.
Look
so
at
if you
that.
didn't have a soft
really?
spot in your heart for Frank, like the rest of us do, now hopefully you do as well. 6 years ago.
How about that? Wow.
Glad I could be a part of it.
Let's see. That was how do you pronounce Christian Stolte's character on Chicago Fire? I think you said it right. Mouch.
Yeah.
That I listened to a video. It's I spelled it Mowch. And then this one was cool. Tim Troy and Kristen Stolte had worked together on a short film. They worked on Tim's film, his short "Hold My Horse." It came out in 2018, and it is available to rent on Vimeo.
Nice.
I will make sure to send Matt the link so that way it'll be in the show notes for everybody.
Perfect.
We have another link. It's the link to the Jesus scene in Big Lebowski. That is Hotel California.
Yes.
You were
Such a
correct.
great one.
Gypsy King's Hotel California, a classic rock song. And then I believe Frank is right again. It was Henry Golding. I think that's what you see. You might have said Harry, but I don't. It was just an H and it ends in a Y. But Henry Golding, that is who played Snake Eyes in the film.
Nice.
Was that everything?
That's all we got in here.
Wow, you
All
did
right.
that very efficiently, Phil.
Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you. I'm ready to do work. I was relaxed. You know how it is? You're in the zone.
Jump back in that fish tank.
You bet.
Old, Ryan. Like a modern-day O. Henry, M. Night Shyamalan, master of the twist, is back yet again this summer with a new twisted tale. This time, Mr. Shyamalan takes us to an anomalous beach where everyone has something to hide and escape seems impossible.
What happened to her, Mom?
I don't know.
What happened to her?
Body has decomposed.
How quickly can that happen?
7 years.
But she just died.
Wait, where are the kids?
Trent!
Kara!
Come here!
Hey, have you seen my children?
Mom? I'm right here.
Ever since he wowed audiences with smash hit Sixth Sense and validated scores of fanboys and girls with indie darling Unbreakable, M. Night has been the victim of diminishing returns. Like a junkie, ever chasing the high they felt for the first few hits, but always coming up disappointed. Time and time again, we sit for M. Night's movies. Sure, there have been some bright spots here and there, Split and The Visit in particular, but perhaps it was because those films, for the most part, while still twisty, eschewed the high concept conceits of most of his movies. Old, however, is about as high concept as it gets. In it, we meet a family on a tropical vacation. A last hurrah for a marriage that is on the rocks. As seen in the trailer, the family goes to spend some time on a secluded beach with a few other hotel guests, and then they all do the time warp again. Somehow, everyone begins to age about 1 year per half hour, effectively reducing their entire lifespan to days. What is causing this rapid aging? Who or what, if anything, is behind it? And can they escape? And for crying out loud, what is the twist? I want to stipulate here that this film is superbly casted. Alex Wolff, who I'm beginning to love more and more, Thomasin McKenzie from Leave No Trace and Jojo Rabbit are particularly good, but really the entire cast is believable and talented actors. The thriller aspect of the plot is tightly wound, and as soon as things get to the beach, the thrills keep coming. I found the pace rather quick and enjoyable, but that's where things begin to fall apart. If you make a movie that falls apart like Ancient Bones if you try to examine it with any scrutiny, then it has to have a deeper meaning. I'm totally willing to just have fun and unplug my brain and suspend my disbelief if there's a moral or a subtext. And aside from perhaps learning to let go of petty squabbles, there ain't much in Old. It seems that M. Night forgot to add the science to his fiction. While I can't reveal the twist, I can tell you it doesn't hold a lit match in a beach cave to The Sixth Sense, and it's probably one of the lazier Shyamalan twists we've ever gotten. This is certainly not the worst of his efforts, but it's not the movie secret you have to keep of the year either. What did you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I think you hit on a point that I want to start the discussion with, is this idea that we all go into M. Night movie looking for the twist.
And yeah, he's boxed himself in at this point.
But it's almost unfortunate because I would actually say Old doesn't have a twist.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it
No,
does.
it does not. It has a reveal, which is different.
Oh, that's semantics, dude.
No. I'm saying it isn't a twist like he's trying to fool us in any way. This movie is not trying to fool you like Bruce Willis is dead in The Sixth Sense. That is trying to fool you. This is not trying to fool you. It just explains what exactly is happening at the end.
It's a poor twist.
No.
Right? What's the difference?
Ouch.
The idea is this. I myself didn't look at the movie like he was relying on the twist. I think the terror is the whole idea of the aging within a day. And you picked up on the pacing, which the pacing, the editing, and the score, very effective score. Those three things combined had me terrorized for about 45 minutes. I started to feel a little panic attack starting because I'm a guy that thinks about aging. Life's moving too fast for me already. Right, we all do.
Sure.
And this movie really examines that. This is happening to these characters in a day.
Yes.
And it scared the hell out of me. It worked. So all of that...
You had me up until it worked.
all of that worked. Now I thought the reveal actually was weak also. I'm not going to say this was like some master reveal, but I don't think we should hang up on the fact that every single movie has to have this amazing twist.
I wouldn't if he didn't.
Well, I don't think where did he come out and say that this has an amazing twist? He didn't. I haven't seen it anywhere. We're just thinking that way because it's an M. Night movie. We're thinking that it has to have this amazing twist. He's never said that. He gave us a cool reveal. Was it the best? No, but it's not supposed to trick us.
He's O. Henry at this point. He's made himself this guy.
But we've brought that on to him also. I mean, he's had movies that don't have major twists, like The Happening or...
The Happening had a twist.
There was no real twist.
Right.
That was the twist. All right. But you know what I mean? Is like we ourselves from watching the movies constantly think that he has to have a twist. So now he makes a movie that has a reveal. It's not supposed to fool us. And now we're hinging the movie on if it's a good reveal or not, when the rest of the movie was pretty terrorizing. Okay. Was it not?
Yes.
To some degree. No. I mean, for about 45 minutes, I was frantic. I felt like my palms sweating a little bit. So that was a good feeling. You know?
It was great up until the sun went down.
It affected me.
And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to reveal too much about this movie. It was great until the sun went down. When they go to the bench for the third set of actors, because you know, as people age, you need to switch out actors. The movie completely falls apart. Okay, there is no. Frank was complaining earlier about just give me a little bit of believability, like nobody cocks a shotgun in a battle scene because they've already loaded their weapon. Fair, right? In this, there's just so much that doesn't make sense. It completely falls apart.
Well,
like here, the ending is stupid. It's just stupid.
It is not. It is not a very good reveal. I agree.
I'm not talking about the reveal. I'm talking about the conclusion. Yeah. How they wrap it up. It's just like, really? Because if somebody walked up to me and told me, "Hey, I was a little kid this morning and now I'm a grown man. Can you please go and arrest somebody?" I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
Call the constables. Let's get on this right away.
It's funny because you had mentioned about people looking at this movie in any type of practical sense. I think that actually starts with the idea that the family of 4 with 2 young kids would want to go to a secluded beach to begin with. They're at a resort where there's all these kind of fun things that you would bring the kids
like parasailing,
to. And then they're like, well, you could go to this beach where there's absolutely nobody. You would want to bring 2 kids, like ages 4 and like 8, to a beach that has nothing, literally nothing. It was like, why would they want to even do that?
Well, all right. So that one didn't bother me because the hotel director guy sort of sells them on it. He's like, oh, it's this anomaly, this like fantastic he makes it sound interesting. He sold them on it. And they're like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun. Put us on the bus. Because they're kind of desperate for something to do. That didn't bother me at all.
And then everything that some of the actions that the characters take on the beach. Also, if you're like looking at it with practical eyes, you'd be like, that doesn't really make sense. But I don't think he was ever going for that. He's really just trying to terrorize you mainly on this aging aspect. That was what the whole thing was, for sure.
I had no problem with the middle of this movie, the meat of the movie, if you will. I thought it was a tightly wound thriller that had a great pace. I liked the concepts he explores. But the twist, because it is a twist, right?
I don't think it's a twist.
Well, listen, that's what they're going to call it.
I'm calling it a reveal.
Okay, fine. This is just semantics. Whatever you want to call it, the turn. Can we call it a turn?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
But you agree he's not trying to fool us.
I do.
Okay.
But that's just kind of like a bad magic trick then, right?
No. Because there's no twist in the movie.
But then why put that in? He wrote in a twist. I mean, it's there.
It's not a twist. There's not a twist when the characters themselves are trying to figure out why they're aging.
Just make it an
and then they finally reveal
movie.
why they. That's what all movies do. Then they finally reveal what it happens.
Why?
So every movie is a twist.
No. We don't need to know why they're on the beach or what the beach is. He wrote that in because he's M. Night Shyamalan and he needs a twist. Just leave them as an existential thing.
We, the audience, wanted to know what the hell was aging. I wanted to know.
The point of the movie is what the characters go through with one another and how your life accelerated to just one day would play out and what that would mean. And
that's the meat of the movie.
Right, that's what's good about the movie. The twist, which you're refusing to call
it's a
twist,
reveal.
Don't put that in. If he was
could you call it a prestige?
Yeah, right. The prestige. Don't put that in because it wasn't very prestigious. It was crap. It immediately took the movie down a couple levels.
Well, also you're talking about, and we staying away from spoilers here.
By the way, I love this. We haven't argued like this in a while.
We're talking. I should say we're avoiding spoilers here. You're talking about the reveal of why he explains why they're aging, but there's also the reason of what forces above them are
in play.
In play, right. And that's what I think was more of a reveal. I really do. I don't think that was like, oh my God, that's some type of major twist and that changes the movie.
It was, okay, call it what you will. It was the M. Night signature. It was like the M. Night Shyamalan, like of this movie. Like that was where he wrote his little name.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's got to be in the movie is just like annoying at this point. Because I don't think he brings much to the table as an actor. He's fine. But like, are you trying to be Hitchcock? What are you doing, dude? Get out of there. Like
he's trying to get them residuals, baby.
I guess.
He's trying to get that side check.
Maybe
every time.
I actually thought he was a good actor in Lady in the Water.
Oh man. All right.
Better than this.
No, I thought that was awful. That's where I think everybody thought he put himself way too much in, was in Lady of the Water.
He was a good actor in that.
I don't think so. You got a jaw-dropping moment here?
The tumor. That's all I'm going to say.
Man.
That's all I'm going to say, because to say any more would be
very gross.
Yeah.
I also kept mine brief. I call it Spider Lady.
Yeah.
Spider Lady was good, right? It was just creepy.
Yeah, it was. It was creepy. For sure.
That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I agree with you. That was very visually disturbing.
You got a movie poster quote?
This movie will age you exactly 1 hour and 49 minutes.
Well done, Matt.
There you go.
I went with, if you have time, in caps, watch it. How many Jaws?
I still went ahead and gave it 2 Jaws. Because the meat of this movie is really good. There's a good movie in here.
I agree.
But he had to M. Night it.
I liked it slightly better. 2.5 Jaws. I'm recommending. Again, now, is it one of his best? No. I ranked it on Letterboxd today. I think I had it at his 7th. So it's middle, but it beats out a lot of his other crap too. I do think it's worth watching. So.
Oh, I think it's worth watching for sure.
Yeah. I need to revise my Snake Eyes to 1.5 Jaws.
Maybe.
Clearly, after hearing how much passion you have or something, and you give it a 2. Sorry.
Well, M. Night clearly gets a response from people. I think that's one of the great things about M. Night, and I want to start this discussion asking Frank, what's your relationship with M. Night Shyamalan movies, his career? Do you like this guy?
I obviously love Sixth Sense, and I dug Signs, I dug Unbreakable, but it's how it's unfortunate to come out and have your best movie be your first movie. And that's hard, man. Right?
That's also arguable, right?
No.
Some people would say Unbreakable is his best movie.
No. No, it's Sixth Sense. And I mean that was I remember when it was in theaters, and the reveal, which he is that's why he's known, holy crap, Bruce Willis is dead this whole time. That was something I mean, qualified filmmakers and qualified movie junkies went and saw it, and they did not see it coming.
Right.
And it's a movie you can go back. That's the best.
And look at all the clues.
And when you know it and you know the inside track, that's a whole new movie.
Right. I actually think it's almost better watching it the second time, knowing it, to see the craftsmanship of the movie. It's like, holy crap, how did this guy pull this off?
Genuine mind.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I repeat my point. It was his best movie, and it was downhill from there. So I think that's what's tough here, right? And that is why he's known as Mr. Reveal. And then what did he try to do? I mean, no offense, but that's all he did, right? Unbreakable. Oh, they're superhero characters, and he's actually the villain. And then, The Happening. Oh, they're actually in, The Happening, so terrible. But The Village, right? Oh, they're in this place, and they're actually inside this compound, and it's just isolated in this neighborhood. And that's his thing. Rodriguez is Guns and Explosives and Antonio Banderas, and Tarantino is amazing dialogue and fantastic shots and a lot of blood and violence and guts, and that's why we hold them to that standard. So
I mean, yeah, dude. So my relationship to M. Night Shyamalan, I said it kind of in my review, is I'm addicted. I got that first dose from Sixth Sense, and I did like Unbreakable. And I might even, on certain days, say I like Unbreakable more than The Sixth Sense because it spoke more to me as a fanboy and as a comic book fan and the superhero genre and everything like that. But ever since then, it's just been like this steady slide down. He's had some certain spikes, like the ones I've mentioned. We're going to probably talk about it again in a minute. But yeah, I feel like anytime his name is in the credits, like M. Night Shyamalan is making a movie, I have to see it. You know, like even if I know it's gonna suck, I have to know.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm with you, Matt. I would say if I was going to put down on a list of paper all the directors I'm excited to see movies for, and I was just going off the top of my head, he might not be near the top, but somewhere on that piece of paper, I'm writing M. Night Shyamalan down. I'm excited when a movie of his comes out. I saw the preview for Old.
It looked good, right?
I knew right then. I was like, ooh, can't wait to see Old. I'll mark it down in my journal. I'm excited for this one. So, yes, I'm still excited to see what the guy does. He's had his downs. I mean, The Happening really is one of the worst movies I ever sat through. And I mean, I didn't even see After Earth with Will Smith. I mean, and I know that one's regarded as, awful as
Almost ruined Will Smith's career.
Yeah.
I actually like After Earth.
Oh, no.
But we'll talk more about that in a moment.
So he's had his downs,
Oh, you think?
But I think when he's working in a smaller constraint, a budget with maybe $5 million, like he did with The Visit, I think it makes him a bit more creative. I think once he got really big and he had the big budget and he could do whatever, I don't think that's where he should be. He should be small, trying to do as much as he can with little, and trying to, hit those creative buttons.
He's a Kevin Smith kind of director. You know what I mean? Like, he's a boutique, and I'm not trying to diminish either one of those filmmakers because I'm a big fan of both, honestly. I'm kind of taking the wind out of M. Night Shyamalan, but I'm going to go see every movie he makes because I'm a fan. But that's where he exists, and I think that's where he could be most successful. I agree with you, Rye. Like, keep it indie, dude.
All right, so let's keep with this M. Night. You alluded to the fact that you may actually like After Earth. We might have found the guy, the one.
The one that likes it? Yeah. I'll take that.
But all right, we all agree that Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are his top two. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yeah.
And are we all in agreement that Sixth Sense is number one, Unbreakable number two?
I'll concede, yes.
Yeah.
I'll concede also.
They're different movies in a way. Like, they don't do that same thing the same way, but I would rank them that way.
So I want to rank his top three, but it would be too easy if we left those two in there. So let's push those to the side. And what would you say his next three best films are? Frank. 3, 4, and 5 M. Night's best. What do you got?
Or 3, 2, and 1.
3, 2. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm saying 3, 4, and 5 because we took 1 and 2 out.
Oh, fair enough.
In that order: Split, Lady in the Water, After Earth.
Split. I like it. Lady in the Water. I hate it. I don't like this movie at all.
Well, you're wrong.
It's like
After Earth. I've never seen.
Lady in the Water is like a good book.
I like
just sit back, relax, and just like and Giamatti's fantastic.
Giamatti is amazing in it.
And just kind of let it happen and know that it's fantasy and weird and wild. And it's like a James D'Amato Dungeons and Dragons adventure game.
Yeah.
In an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is interesting. Split is my next favorite movie by him, followed by The Visit. And I round out that list with The Lady in the Water.
Wow.
Ryan is dead wrong. I think you need to revisit this one, dude.
Giamatti's fantastic in that.
He is.
Maybe. You guys are someone got me excited. Once I saw Old, I wanted to revisit a couple of his movies. I haven't seen Signs since it came out. I've only seen it one time. And my number 3 of his, 3, 4, 5, my number 3 is The Village. It's got Joaquin Phoenix in it. It's got a huge cast, actually. It's a bigger cast. I can't think of all of them in there, but I know Joaquin Phoenix stars in it. Bryce Dallas Howard's in there. Right. She's also in Lady in the Water. But,
she is the Lady in the Water.
Right. But I like I almost saw The Village twist coming, but I still was on board for it. I just enjoyed that movie quite a bit. Then I have Signs at number 4.
Okay.
And then I'm with you guys. I have Split at number 6. Big fan as well.
I liked Signs a lot when I saw it in the theater, and then it was a film I don't think that aged well. You watch it, and then it's like it's a little
the next
overacted, and then the comedy beats in there, and you've got way too much M. Night in there as the Doctor. So
Way too much Mel Gibson in there.
Yeah, but I dug After Earth. I thought it was a good, fun action thing, and I don't know if you remember that. Nobody knew it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It played very much under the radar when it came out. It was a Will Smith vessel. They downplayed that he was the director because The Happening had happened not too long ago. Yeah. And I thought it was a solid, like a family type action thing. I thought the monster was great. I thought the premise of fear being what the creature reads, and that's why their sort of race of warriors was doing the thing. And his son being I can't think of Will Smith.
Jaden Smith.
Right. He was so young, but I mean, just the isolation, being on that planet alone, and then having to figure those things out. So it was a fun. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie.
You're selling me on After Earth, which I don't think anyone.
You guys have sold me on Lady in the Water, so I'm going to add that. I want to see The Village again, and I want to see Lady in the Water, and I'll even go with Signs.
All right, so. I got a quick question for you guys. Speaking of getting old, best movies about aging.
Ooh,
what do you think, Ryan?
That is a tough one.
Because you said you're so afraid of aging.
So, off the top of my head here, right? My favorite that I thought, this was a really serious film. 2012, I reviewed it here on Cinemajaw by Michael Haneke, the French filmmaker.
Oh, Jesus.
Amour. It was nominated for...
Amour.
It was nominated for Best Picture. And it's an older couple. They're married, and the wife has a stroke. And she doesn't want to live out her days in, any type of care home or hospital. She wants to stay at home, but the husband is also old and aging, and he wants to keep that promise that he can take care of her. Real touching, tearjerker, beautiful film about love and aging. Two more I want to mention. Cocoon.
Of course.
Cocoon, come on. Ron Howard classic, 1985, we're going back.
Yeah, Ron Howard was young when he made this movie.
My dad had this on VHS, and I remember really watching it and just being sad for the old folks. I mean, what a movie. They find this fountain of youth that is, I guess, inhabited by aliens, right? Is, if I can remember the
more or
premise
less.
correctly.
A pool in a retirement community.
Yeah.
And they are storing them there to keep them safe, and by swimming in the water, they rejuvenate their DNA and their life force, but at the same time, they're sucking that away from the aliens in the eggs.
Steve Guttenberg masterpiece. Was this one of his masterpieces?
No. You are messing up. This is a Wilford Brimley masterpiece.
You just put masterpiece and Steve Guttenberg in the same sentence.
There's many Steve Guttenberg masterpieces.
Yeah.
You got Police Academy.
Police Academy 2, Police Academy 5.
Don't forget Short Circuit, you guys. I mean, he was huge.
I don't even know if he was in 3 Men and a Baby. Was he?
He was.
Okay, I thought so. It's a masterpiece, of course.
Wow.
The third one I do want to talk about with aging is Interstellar.
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
And yes, it's not the entire movie, but a key element of the film. And especially it's this moment when Matthew McConaughey's character goes on this planet with Anne Hathaway, that huge wave. I mean, the sequence is just fantastic. And then you get the great crying Matthew McConaughey moment when he goes back and he realizes for every hour that he was on that planet, 7 years have passed. So he basically lost with something like 28 years of time seeing his kids grow up, and he's getting all those messages. What a moment. I mean, I remember just tears flowing down the cheek watching it. It was awesome.
That's a good one.
I loved Interstellar. I saw it at the Navy Pier IMAX when it was real deal 6-story tall IMAX. Saw it there twice. God, it was incredible on that big screen.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, no longer there. Movies on aging, I didn't really... I guess I didn't have some big picks. The first one that comes to mind is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Just seeing that
Ryan didn't mention
play out that way. I would go with the weird pick. I would go with Interview with the Vampire. Right, because it was this whole conversation about time moving on, and Antonio Banderas' character wanting it's a kind of weird sort of are they're not lovers, but they're vampires, so I just want somebody to be with me, and it's like this, but because time keeps moving on, and then Kirsten Dunst got bit when she was a child, so it's like I'm this old woman in this little body, and what am I going to do? And there was this thing about the passage of time in that movie, I guess, from an aging standpoint. So there's another one, and I can't think of it, so go Matt.
Okay. I was going to talk about Cocoon, but we've talked about Wilford Brimley enough. Relic. The one from, was that just last year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or
It was.
2020?
2020.
It was an interesting horror movie that explores aging, particularly dementia, and I thought from a pretty creative point of view. And the way they weave that into the horror story was convincing and original. And I encourage anyone who hasn't seen it to check it out. So that was my pick.
Nice.
Can't think of whatever it was, so I'm going with Relic.
Nice.
Totally what I was thinking.
Relic is good, dude. Check it out.
It is a good one. Absolutely. So, summing up, old, Matt, 2 Jaws, Rye the Movie Guy, 2.5 Jaws, Jawheads. Everybody loves a good reveal. So if you get out there and see it.
Can we call it a twist? Everyone loves a good twist.
Shoot us a tweet at Cinemajaw or write us an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com. We like to end our podcasts with some fun movie trivia, and M. Night is just a great topic. He's had so many great actors in his movies, large casts,
huge,
big names in all of them for the most part. So we're playing M. Night cast movie trivia. Frank, you're our guest. If you want to go first, you can, or you can let Matt go first. There are steals, and if you get hung up on any questions, you get one rescue. I have clues to all the questions.
There's only one lesson I've learned. Is you always go first.
That is it. Question 1, over to Frank. M. Night cast movie trivia. Here we go, Frank. Name the actor who starred in Sideways and The Illusionist before starring in M. Night's Lady in the Water.
I feel like this is the simplest answer, but I'm going to get it wrong. Is it Paul Giamatti?
That is correct. All right. 1-0, Frank. Question 2, over to Matt K. Matt, in 2008, Mark Wahlberg starred in The Happening. Which actress played his wife in the film?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Frank's got his glasses off.
Who's his wife? Oh, my God.
That's the twist.
So glad you don't know either.
It's Donnie Wahlberg. What a reveal.
Mila Kunis.
Oh, man. That is incorrect.
I know Frank doesn't know either.
Question 2. Who was Mark Wahlberg's wife in The Happening?
I have no idea. It was such a bad movie. And I'm not going to waste my rescue Ryan on question 2.
I wouldn't either. I struck it from my memory.
I'm going with I'm going to take a real stab at this. My brain makes me think that it was the girl from the Mission Impossible movie who was in like when Tom Cruise married that woman, and I can't think of her name. And I'm going to say Bridget Monahan, but it's not.
Incorrect. Barking up the wrong tree anyways. We're looking for Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, my gosh.
Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg.
She's actively disengaged from the relationship and cheating on him. And
Matt, tonight, go home and rewatch The Happening.
I
go home and rewatch
all of that
The
out of my
Happening.
brain because the soldier one time said cheese and rice in a crisis situation. And I was like, I'm going to erase this entire movie from my mental Rolodex.
Oh, my.
I don't blame you.
Oh, my. How about this one? Robin Wright appears in one M. Night Shyamalan film. Which one is it, Frank?
Is that me?
Yep.
It's Unbreakable.
That is correct. I had forgot she was in it when I was writing this
She's
trivia
the mom,
question.
right?
She is.
Yeah. 2-0, Frank. Question 4, over to Matt K. Matt, what actress played Mel Gibson's daughter in the movie Signs?
Oh, come on, man.
That's hard.
That is. I mean, like, his son was Joaquin Phoenix, and then the daughter she was like a child, like very young.
Very young.
Okay, so let me think about this. Signs came out. Sixth Sense came out in the very late 90s, like 98, 99.
99.
So Signs was as a follow-up.
No, Unbreakable, 2000.
Oh, yeah, but nobody saw that
And
one.
then
So
Signs.
Signs was like, I mean, I love it, but nobody saw it. So Signs was the one from the producers of The Sixth Sense.
I can't think of her name, so I'm just going to tell you what I know other movie. I believe she's in the other movie Zombieland. Like she's the other female actress with
Why are you
Emma Zone.
helping me?
Because I don't know the actress's name and I'll never get it.
In Zombieland?
She's the younger of the two females in Zombieland, and no way in the world I would ever guess her
Was
name.
that Abigail Breslin?
Oh, my God, Matt, it was.
Yes.
Funny story.
Wow.
prior to recording the Jaw, me and Matt saw Stillwater
with Abigail Breslin.
Oh, really?
And Matt drove me home, and he's talking about Abigail Breslin. And I've already written these questions. I'm thinking, I know I got to Abigail. Here it came up. I was wondering if it was going to happen.
I dig trivia so much. I want to help everybody with
All right. The score is this: 2-1, Frank. Question 4 is over to him. Frank, name the actress who starred in Avatar and M. Night's 2004 film, The Village.
The actress who starred in Avatar and the actress who starred in The Village. Well, I didn't see The Village, but I'm going to... The star, female actress star of Avatar is Zoe Saldana.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
He meant Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, I did not.
That's the one that M. Night directed.
I know, but I'm saying name the actress who starred in Avatar and also M. Night's 2004 film, The Village.
I have a second guess, obviously, but it doesn't matter now.
It's not...
It's only one other lead actress.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, Adrian Brody is the only thing I remember from The Village. Jesus, man. It's another one I've just scrubbed from my memory. What question number is this?
This is question 4.
Meryl Streep.
Incorrect.
Is it Sigourney Weaver?
It is Sigourney Weaver.
Gosh,
yes.
I should have gone with
Sigourney Weaver.
She's not the star.
I know. Jeez. I'm saying starred in Avatar.
That's right.
All
That's right. Sorry.
It's 2-1, Frank. Question 6 over to Matt K. Matt, 1 year after The Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment starred in a film with Kevin Spacey and Helen Hunt. Name the film.
Spacey and Hunt.
And Haley Joel Osment.
AI?
That is incorrect, Matt K.
You know this
Wow.
one?
Don't. Can I get a rescue?
Rescue me, Ryan, on question 6. Your clue, Frank, is you have to pay for it.
Pay it forward?
Yes, he nailed it.
Wow.
Nailed
I don't even
it.
think the clue would have helped me.
I don't remember the movie, but the clue, I was like, okay, I remember something about people doing things, and then
Yes.
you said pay, and I'll take the clue.
3-1, Frank, and question 7 is over to him. That was a great time to take your clue. He knows trivia. He knows trivia.
He knows his, that was
his strategy
tactics.
is impeccable.
Yep.
Question 7 over to Frank. 1 year after Unbreakable, Bruce Willis starred in an action comedy about robbing banks, which also starred Billy Bob Thornton and Kate Blanchett. Name the film. Bruce Willis,
I know.
Billy Bob Thornton,
Kate
and
Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett
It's a
about
one-word
robbing
name.
banks. He is, yes, he is on it. It is a one word. I will say that.
It's not Slickers. It's something like that.
City Slickers.
No.
That's 2 words, Matt.
It's only one word? So it's not Hudson Hawk.
Man.
Oh, man, this is big. Late into the night, does Frank pull this one out for the win?
I don't have it.
Rescue me, Ryan.
Rescue me, Ryan. And your clue is one-word title.
Are you
kidding me?
serious? Is that the clue, really? Oh, my God.
All right, give me the facts again of this case.
Oh, I know it. Dang it.
Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
1 year after Unbreakable came out, and it's about them stealing, robbing banks.
Okay, I don't know. So what one word title could be about robbing banks? I will say heist.
Ooh.
Is it Bandits?
It is Bandits.
Damn it.
It is Bandits.
Damn it.
Still 3-1. The game is over, but last question is over to Matt K. Matt, before she played chess, this actress starred in the 2017 film Split and appears in the 2019 film Glass. Name the actress.
She's the girl with the big eyes who's doing the Tiffany commercials now, which are really awkward, by the way. Have you guys seen these Tiffany
not.
commercials? They're black and white. Anytime you watch Hulu, they come on, and she does one where she takes a book off the shelf and then she stares into the camera and then says, "Tease me," which sounds cool, but it's not. It's really awkward.
And her name is...
Her name is...
She's breaking onto the scene, right? She's
was in
basically
New
an
Mutants.
A-lister.
She is absolutely an it girl. This is her moment.
Yeah, it is. Do you know the name of this actress, Matt?
I mean, when you're doing Tiffany commercials, you're not breaking onto the scene, Ryan. You're already
Evidently,
there.
Her agent needs to get her name out more in social media because we all know who she is, but we don't know what her name is.
Her name is the girl with the really big eyes.
Absolutely incorrect. Frank, do you know this actress?
Zooey Deschanel.
We were looking for Anya Taylor-Joy.
I will never forget your name again, Anya.
Amen.
There you go. Frank wins this one. Can I get a handshake? Yeah. In person. Look at this. It's fantastic. Our first in-person handshake in trivia, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
If it came down to a tie, we call it a jawbreaker. This question would have been over to Frank. Better unbreakable actor, Bruce Willis or Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, Sam Jackson.
Incorrect.
Wow.
Bruce Willis.
I mean, you used to listen to Die Hard.
Yeah. And there's Bruce Willis doesn't do any acting in that movie. Bruce Willis
agree.
is just kind of stoic and silent.
I was buzzing him just for
of course.
fun. It really is Samuel L. Jackson.
I know how trivia goes.
Yeah. The real jawbreaker was...
The real
jawbreaker was this. Age of Haley Joel Osment closest to. Ooh. Matt, you got a guess on Haley Joel? He is still alive, Jawheads.
Yeah, no, he's still acting. He was just in something where he was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, that. Okay, so late 90s, he was 7 or 8. So I would say that was like 20 years ago. He is he's 39.
Lock him in at 39.
That
Frank,
might be
you gotta
young.
guess.
That might be young.
I think he's overshot this one. I'm going with 36.
Give that one to Frank. He's only 33. 33 for
I way
Haley
overshot
Joel.
it.
Yeah.
Well, he just didn't age really well, guys.
Your math is terrible too. He's like 7, and then all of a sudden
carry the 2.
Yeah, then he's like 39.
I had a few
I'm like,
years because I thought
did
maybe
he do
was
division?
Maybe he was just small, so he was playing younger. I don't know.
Wow.
It wasn't bad math. It was bad judgment.
Well, Frank wins this one anyways.
It was classically bad math. You were like, he was the 7, and that was like 20 years ago. 39.
Which would make him 27.
That is
I know.
Bad math.
Blame it on M. Night because he was
That's the
lighting
twist.
him much younger.
My poor math skills. That's right.
Brings us to the end of a very fun Jaw. Our first in-house guest in a long, long time. Frank T. Ziede, thanks for coming on.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. Can't wait to hear whatever you guys got coming up next. And just real quick, I want to commend the Jaw, all of you guys, for how many episodes you're doing and committing to doing what you're doing. Your craft is fantastic. You always have something for your audience, and you're determined to keep doing it. And there's a lot of people who give up and don't stay determined, and I commend you.
That's true. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Frank. Also, got to thank our producer, our editor, Film Me and Phil.
Oh, always happy to do it. It's a fun time. Wouldn't be anywhere else on a Thursday night.
Matt, we should also thank the sponsors.
Yep. Thanks to Overcast and the Chicago Podcast Co-op who help us get great sponsors like them.
We also want to thank Scarlett Johansson for letting us celebrate her this month of July.
Well, she didn't exactly, call us and say, hey, why don't you guys celebrate
I thought we
us?
got a letter. No?
No, I was just kidding.
Did you say letter? Like you actually, like a letter?
Yes.
Like not an email?
Oh, no. A letter. A real letter. But
Was it a Scarlet letter?
That's our time, everybody. Thanks for playing.
If you want to support Cinemajaw, the easiest way to do so is by leaving us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast.
And while you're at it, please click subscribe. One extra button from you helps us out a lot.
Until next week, I'm Ryan the Movie Guy.
I'm Matt Kay.
And keep on jawing about the movies.